So this is the video for TJ's Gym staff members on the introduction. Arguably the most important part of the concept of building our clientele and membership. I'm going to take you through the steps of it. For portions of it, I'm going to pretend like you in the camera are the client, and other times I'll break away and give notes as to the parts that we're covering as far as the intro goes. There will be a written portion of an outline and a script for this intro, but for the most part, this is what I've been doing for the last 25 years that I've sat down with people, and it's worked pretty well. So it changes every few years, things get added and taken away, but for the most part, you're going to be covering some of the basics. The first part will be their history, most importantly, okay? Second part will be your history. The third part will be the idea behind the 4 assessments. And then the last part will be how we change people's lives. So as we go through it, obviously you're going to put your own flair and your own spin onto this, but I'm going to kind of take it from the top and we will just kind of flow with it, all right? So someone walks in, they've been scheduled for this intro, they've received the pre-qualification email, they know that there's no workout today. If they show up expecting a workout, we're going to tell them that there is none. Sometimes they show up in workout clothes, sometimes they show up straight from work. You're going to sit down and make them comfortable, and the first thing you're going to say to them is this. The idea today is to show you how this is an individual's program. Our job here is to take care of you as an individual. I'm going to listen to a little bit of your story. You're going to give me some, as I like to say, past, present, and future. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to give you a little bit of my past, present, and future. And where I'm going to tell you and break down how we do things differently here. Not only how we do things differently from regular gyms, but also from CrossFit gyms. And from there, you're going to leave. You're going to get out of here and you're going to think about what we talked about, because I feel like it's really important for you to kind of ruminate on the stuff that we talked about. And the business manager will follow up with you, and he or she will kind of give you the next steps, which you'll be pretty well versed on by the time you leave. Sound good? Okay, so for you, client, John, Mary, whoever you may be, I need you to go back a little bit. I'd like to hear a little bit about where you're from, what you do currently. Give me a little story of your fitness, and maybe any injuries you had along the way. Okay. When they get done talking about themselves, don't be afraid to ask some prying questions, okay? Dig in a little bit and ask them, if they haven't said anything about injuries, say, well, you have any injuries, anything going on there? That will be your cue, the last thing that you'll say before you go into your history as a coach. So now I go into my history. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been doing this for 25 years. Moved out here to California from New Jersey in 1992. Walked into a gym, they had a help wanted sign on the desk. Got myself a job as a trainer. A couple of things that were happening back then. It was the beginning of the .com boom and kind of the middle of the AIDS crisis. My 2 kind of claims to fame were that I was able to carve out a business taking care of those 2 different sectors that were going on. One was that, my one claim to fame was that I was the first trainer in San Francisco to have a website. And from there, I was able to get into the tech world, this booming technology industry that was starting. The other thing that happened was pretty quickly I started working for myself, and I became the only straight trainer at the gayest gym in San Francisco, the Castro Golds. And that set me apart because as being a straight trainer there, my clientele felt safe. And being that it was the middle of the AIDS crisis, a lot of people didn't want other people in their circle of friends or associates or whoever they socialized with to know what was going on. So they felt very comfortable having somebody outside of that circle. And from there, my business boomed. I had a small personal training company, had a couple of people that worked for me. We moved all around San Francisco training people wherever we could. My wife and I met, decided we were going to move up to Marin County, and I opened a gym in 2002. It's a gym that you've seen 1,000 times before. Cardio equipment, pieces of mirrors on the walls, weight machines, free weight area. And in 2005, somebody mentioned the word CrossFit to me. It's the first time I've ever heard anything about it. And I went to a website and I read a guy's philosophy. Fitter people lead better lives. And I agreed, obviously. From there, I took a trip down a path in his website where I started reading all the free content that he provided on how he defined fitness, because that's the reality of how we change people's lives. We improve their fitness by our definition, okay? Our definition, CrossFit's definition of fitness, is that we're going to change you in a bunch of different areas, and that's the point of the first 4 assessments. We have to find out where your fitness levels are. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to assess your modality list. There's 10 modalities to every athlete, every human being who walks through our doors. Speed, strength, agility, accuracy, balance, coordination, stamina, endurance, flexibility, and power. From there, we're going to be able to find out what you're strong at and what you're weak at. We're comparing you to men or women, your age, height, and weight, who currently are fit by using our program. They didn't start that way. So from there, the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to see where you are on the human movement list. Push, pull, bend, and squat. Some of those movements you're going to be good at, some you're not. But that push, pull, bend, squat are the roots to all human movement. Doesn't matter if you're pulling open the refrigerator door, doing stand-up paddle boarding, or skiing. The third thing we're going to do is we're going to check out your lifestyle. That's truly what changed my life back in 2004-05 when I found this thing called CrossFit. Sleep, stress, nutrition, hydration, mobility and flexibility, injury prevention, meditation, psychology, therapy, depends on what it is that you need. It's our job to kind of push you in that direction and maybe push you away from what we're doing here at the gym and into somebody who really knows what they're doing, because we're trying to get rid of those roadblocks and those things that are holding you up. That is super important in changing a human being's lives. The last thing that we want to do is we want to go through the idea of the difference between aerobic and anaerobic work. So for the most part, people in the world have been performing feats of aerobic fitness. And my avatar, my 26-year-old who figures out what they're doing in the world, they start to surround themselves with experiences that support what it is that they want to do when they start figuring out where they want to do it and what they want to do. And what they end up doing is, in their fitness leisure time, LSD, as I like to call it, long, slow duration. They hike, bike, swim, run, lift weights, take classes at a tempo and an effort that is sustainable, greater than 3 minutes, defined as aerobic work. What you're doing is essentially creating cardiopulmonary health and burning calories. Super important. You're built to do it, and you should continue to do it. But at that 26 years old, that avatar starts, as I like to say, putting away childish things. They stop doing things that really challenge them physically because they're starting a career, they're starting a life. They don't want to get hurt. They want to make sure that they're getting some results from the activity they're doing, because they are getting results. They're keeping their weight down. They're keeping themselves in quote-unquote good shape. 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, they come see me. They come see us. And they say, I don't have the energy I used to have. My lean body mass is down. I don't feel strong. I can't sleep as well. I'm just not as happy as I used to be. Right, because essentially what they've done is they put away those childish things, otherwise known as anaerobic activities, which are not powered by oxygen, but they're powered by the 65 human hormones that make up who we are. Progesterone, serotonin and dopamine in the brain, growth hormone, testosterone, estrogen, you name it. We have hormones, every single human being, that work off a use it or lose it system. And when you walk away from using them, they diminish. And unfortunately, the side effects are of aging. We feel older. So essentially, our job here is to do hormonal work. Well, if that's the opposite of aerobic work, which is sustainable, we're going to do unsustainable work. We're going to be doing work that is defined as uncomfortable. Now, uncomfortable for you as an individual. Uncomfortable for you might be hanging on a pull-up bar. It might be holding the top of a plank. It might be doing 10 steps of a walking lunge. And what we're trying to prove to you is that through your human movement and through your experience here of working hard at things that are defined as strength-based, we're going to make you better. We're going to change your health, performance, and aesthetic. So we're going to do that by giving you the 3 things that all successful people in the world have. Successful people, whether they're raising a child, building a business, going to college, doing anything in life, have a well-defined coach, a well-defined goal, and a well-defined plan. Successful people don't do random, okay? They don't wake up in the morning and say, man, I hope everything works out today. That's ridiculous. So what we're going to do is we're going to coach you the entire way through. I can't have you just jumping into classes here if that's the route you want to go on. I can't have you just going out onto the gym floor and working out on your own. I can't have you bringing a workout into your coach and your trainer and saying, I want to do this today, because you don't know what to do. It's our job to write that script for you and show you what to do. Our gym is essentially built up in 3 different parts. There are energies that we have to give you. Private one-on-one training, the ability to come and do an individually designed program on your own during open gym, or the ability to take classes. And we want to make sure that you feel confident enough, not necessarily fit enough, but confident enough to go out there and perform as you would in any experience with a really well-written script. Our job is to hold your hand as much as you need it, because eventually we're going to start moving into the different area of coaching, which is holding you accountable and maybe creating some motivation and inspiration to keep moving when things get tough, because they will. So that's how I basically go through the intro. Changes a little bit for each individual person that comes in, whether it's a 72-year-old with 2 fake hips or somebody who comes in as an 18-year-old striving to make an Olympic team. It doesn't matter. It works across the board. I'm happy to sit down with you guys individually and go through this. The only way you're going to get better at it is practice, and by looking people in the eye, listening, and picking up on all the little examples that they're giving you throughout the intro that shows that they're hooked in, that they're listening to what you have to say. I'll never send you out before you're ready. I'll always have you practice as much as you want, but this is a part of your job moving forward. And it's something that sets the tone for how many referrals and how the quality of those referrals in the future of building your own business as a coach. So, good luck. And that's all I have to say.
Awesome.
Cool.